What is up, everyone? It's Matt from Card Fellas here. And if you're like me and this pandemic has you going through some of your old cards and thinking, how much could these be worth in today's market? Well, I got back into card collecting, and with that comes the reality that if your cards are going to be worth anything, you're going to probably have to get them graded. So I'm going to talk you through some of the things that I've learned along my journey, as well as I'm going to show you 5 cards that I'm going to get graded. And we'll see in a couple of weeks if my guesses were right on what they would come back as. But first, here are the 3 things that I think are important for anybody who's been outside of the collecting world that have gotten back in. These are 3 things that I think you should invest in now. They don't cost a lot of money, but they will hopefully help you in the long run. The first thing that you want to invest in are brand new penny slots. Or penny sleeves, I'm sorry, penny slots. My mind's on Vegas. The penny sleeves. These are like 100 for like $1. But your cards, probably, if you're like me, your old cards have been sitting in those dingy ones for 5, 10, 15, sometimes 30 years. So it's good to get a brand new package of those and change out your cards. Also do the same thing with your card savers. These are brand new. Again, not a lot of money, but if you're going to get these cards graded, when you put your nice cards in a brand new penny sleeve and then a brand new card saver, when the PSA folks get it, they're going to look at it and they're going to go, all right, this person means business. This card looks sharp. This is somebody who knows what they're doing. So those are 2 things that I've learned along the way. I've invested in new penny sleeves and new card savers for my cards that I'm going to be sending in here shortly. The last thing that I purchased that I was kind of on the fence, I was like, gosh, I really need that. Do I really want to buy that? Is this beautiful thing right here. It is a magnifying glass with an LED light. Now, this has helped me inspect some of my cards that I'm going to send in to PSA to get graded. And before I had this, I was kind of using my cell phone light and kind of holding the card in my hand. And then I bought this thing on Amazon. And I'm going to put the link in the profile or in the description below. So you'll be able to buy this if you want to. It is like $39, $40. So in Amazon. So you see the light, good bright light. Here's you get a chance to see there's a magnifying glass in there, and it comes with this really sturdy base that plugs in. So, if you're looking at cards like this, it's not moving around, and you can use this to handle cards and look under here, and you can go through here, look at the light, and look through cards and find any blemishes. And I'm going to show you exactly what I found with my cards that I thought were really solid cards all the way around, great centering, good sharp corners. Then I took under the loop here, I took a look, and what I saw was some imperfections on the surface. And I think that's where a lot of people get dinged on cards when they send them into PSA. I think they look at the centering and they go, oh, it's perfect. Oh, look at the corners, those are great. And I think as a novice, as somebody who's just getting back into it, that's the way I thought. I was buying cards off eBay that I thought had solid corners, that had good centering, which are very important. But once you get it under the loop here, you start to see some of the blemishes and you see why people are selling it. So I'm going to take you through that right now. The first card I got here is one of my favorites growing up. And, I always wanted to get it because it was, tough to get at the time. The Darryl Strawberry 1983 Topps Traded. I just like the look of this card. Like Darryl Strawberry as a player. The blue, the orange, everything just pops off the card. So it was a really nice, colorful card. The back looks very good. When you look at this card, it looks really sharp. For 1983, the corners are fantastic. The centering looks perfect on both the front and the back. But, when you look under the microscope a little bit, not the microscope, the magnifying glass, my apologies. When you look at it, there was, a little bit of a blemish. You can't really tell, but it was right around there. It was just a little bit of a line. And, I don't know if the PSA grader is going to take that into account. I'm sure they will, but, those are the type of blemishes that when you look at this and go, oh my God, look at that card. From a distance, it's like, oh yeah, that's a PSA 10. Everything looks perfect. But when you closely examine it, like, I don't know, maybe not. So I'm eager to find out what that's going to be worth when I send it into PSA. And when I do, when I get it back, I'll let you know. Second card, similar situation, is the Dwight Gooden 1984 Topps Traded. Again, another card I wanted to get my hands on. Really like the Mets. You know, this is when I was growing up watching baseball, and you know the Mets were at their peak. You know, they had Strawberry, they had Dwight Gooden, 1986, of course, and so these are the cards that I wanted to get. Finally got it. Again, you know, Dwight Gooden card goes down tremendously in value after his personal issues, but again, nice card to have. But you look at it and you're just like, wow, perfectly sharp corners, good centering. But then you start looking at it a little bit. All right, the Topps logo up there is a little smudged. If you look at the imperfections, there's a little ink dot there. If you start looking around, when you really start to examine this card, you go, okay, where's the little red ink dot under his throwing hand there? You know, right next to his picture, there's a little dot as well. So when you look at it, and you look at it from here, or you buy this card on eBay, you look at it and go, that's a PSA 10. But get it under the magnifying glass, you're probably looking at a 9. Again, I'm going to send that one in as well. I'll let you know how that goes at a later date. Unfortunately, that's one of those lower priced ones, so I'm not going to do an express on that. I'll get that back. My last one here is a Ken Griffey Jr. Topps Traded. Again, you can see that one really good in the LA here, but there's a little printing imperfection right there. If you kind of look at it, it looks like a little line. See that? You're not going to see that with the naked eye. I'm like looking at it here underneath the microscope, or the magnifying glass. Keep calling it the microscope like I'm a scientist. Sometimes you feel it right there. You can kind of see that imperfection. You know, to the naked eye, you look at that and go, okay, that's not too bad. That's good. Again, if you see this card, if you were to look at this card on eBay, you go, okay, that's pretty good centering. That's pretty solid. But you shine that light on it, and you get that magnifier on there, that line right there is really prominent. So again, it's going to help you with your evaluation of your card. And if you think this is a 10, and then you get it under the loop, I like to call it the loop like a jeweler, but you get under the loop, boy, that line is really prominent. I don't see it getting a 10 at all. So that could change your whole strategy. Other than that, the card looks really sharp, a little bit of nicking down here, but you know, that might bring it down to an 8, because it takes away a little bit of the luster of that card. Again, it's not a very valuable card, but the difference between a 10, 9, and 8 is pretty significant. And when it costs money to send these cards in to PSA, you want to make sure you're sending in the best. So now you see the advantage of having the magnifying glass with the light. You're able to see all of those imperfections before you send it into PSA. Again, I think that's why people get dinged on cards, maybe that they didn't see, maybe they didn't notice that there were some blemishes, or maybe it's just that the card needs to be cleaned off a little bit. I think you really have to pay close attention to that. And before you send it into PSA, you want to make sure that your cards look as brilliant as possible. So that way that when the PSA evaluator gets the card, they look at it and they say, okay, this card is in great condition. It was well kept. There's no blemishes. The penny sleeve is perfect. The card saver is perfect. This person knows what they're doing. They're a true collector. They're not an amateur like I was a couple weeks ago before I got all this information myself. So again, take those steps to do your due diligence before you send in your card, or you're just going to be wasting your money. Like I said, with the Dwight Gooden, with the Darryl Strawberry, with the Ken Griffey Jr. traded card, I looked at those cards on the surface meaning, you know, without examining it. And I said, these are potential PSA 10s. I'm looking at it now and I'm looking at the reality. They're probably 9s. They might even be 8s. So you want to prepare yourself for that disappointment, if you will, or maybe you're undervaluing them and then PSA comes back and says, no, they're a 10. You know, that etching isn't as bad as some of the other cards we see. So that's the value that I think that brings. Now, I was talking to you before about what I was going to send into PSA for the next round of grading. And I'm going to do this here in the next couple days. So we should be able to get some of these results back relatively quickly. I'm going to do the express route. So I'll be back in about 15 to 20 days. Now, this card, I wish it was in better shape, but it's not. It's the Michael Jordan rookie card. This is an authentic rookie card. It's not a reprint. As you can see, it has seen better days. Right here, there's like crease on top of crease on top of crease. There we go. You get a chance to see the creases. The corners are all just dinged up, messed up. This is a messy card. And you know what? I had about 4 of these cards when I was growing up. Now, in 1986, I was 10, so I didn't take very good care of my cards, unfortunately. And I remember pulling this card. When I found out that I had one, I was a little bit older, and it was sitting like in my kitchen counter drawer where just things go to die. So I'm hoping to get this graded, at least authenticated, because I tried to put this on eBay ungraded and it got flagged for forfeit. So or not forfeit, counterfeit. So they're claiming this is counterfeit because there's so many reprints of this card, it's hard to authenticate it without having it not graded. So again, there's like marks on this thing. This thing's all creased up. So I'm doing this just to make sure that people know it's authenticated, and then I'll sell it on eBay. Hopefully I'll get 1,000. I mean, the PSA 1s were going for, I don't know, $1,500 to $1,700, but you know, if I get 1,000 for this, I'll be happy. And again, this is the way I look at this right now. This is found money. This has been sitting in my card collection for 30 years. So here it is, time to get it out, and let's try and make some money. This card doesn't mean much to me. It means more to somebody else to have it. So why not let somebody else own this card, even if it is in rough shape? Now, the other cards that I'm looking to get submitted, now these are cards that I bought recently on eBay as single cards, and I'll tell you why I did this. So I bought these 3 Kobe Bryant rookie cards. They're all tops. I bought them individually. They're all really good shape. Some of them are a little bit more off-center than others, but the corners are good, the surfaces are good. And I started to think, okay, watch these Michael Jordan cards just go through the roof right now as people are watching The Last Dance. And I bought these Kobe cards as that series kicked off. And I was getting these for about $50 to $62. I think that was the most I spent. I think I spent $50 for one, $55 and $62. So they didn't cost that much. And then Kobe appeared in one of the episodes. Now these cards are going for about $100 to $125 each. So already they've gone up in value. But here's my theory and here are my thoughts. And this is why you might want to consider investing in some Kobe cards. It has been said or rumored that Kobe's final season in the NBA before he retired was filmed. He had a film crew follow him, and they were talking about doing a documentary about his final season with the Lakers. Now, eventually, that will come out, and it'll get the same type of audience and respect as The Last Dance, which means Kobe Bryant gets back into people's minds, Kobe Bryant gets back into people's heart, and once that happens, they're opening their wallets and they're going on eBay and they're looking for their cards. So I looked at this as more of an investment than a quick turn. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get these graded. I have these all at PSA 9s. The corners are sharp. The surfaces, back, front, are really, really solid. A little bit off center, and I think because of the high population, I think it has to be perfect to get a 10. One of the cards has a little bit of a line. I can't tell without the magnifying glass, but there's a line kind of right here on one of the cards that might knock it down. Here it is right there. You can probably see it if I got it under the magnifying glass. But those are the cards that I'm going to send in, and hopefully one of these PSA 10s would be fantastic. But if they all came back 9s, that'd be great as well. I think the 9s are going for anywhere between $300, maybe $350, and upwards of maybe even $400. Whereas the 10s are going for about $1,500 to $1,800. And if they come back 8s, which I think could be possible, at least on one of them, I get my money back. So, or I hold on to them until Kobe Bryant becomes relevant and people are thinking about him. So that will be coupled with that. And then the last one, again, same premise. I went out and I bought this single card on eBay. It's the LeBron James Topps rookie card. And I think the same thing that's going to happen when LeBron James retires. And he's getting up there in age. I mean, he's still playing at a ridiculous level. But what I think is going to happen is when he goes on his retirement tour, he's going to be on Sports Center, and he's going to be talked about every day. And again, anytime you're collecting with cards or looking to sell, what makes these guys relevant? It's really the exposure, what they're getting talked about. I think when you start looking at that type of thing, I think LeBron James is the next superstar athlete who's going to probably be exiting the game. You know, he's been in the league close to 20 years, if not more. I don't know exactly, but, well, this is what, 2003, 2004, and it's, 2020. We're 17 years. And so he's probably got a couple more years left into him, so you're not gonna flip this card. But if I get this graded, I think I bought this one for about $400, and I'll pay $75 to get it graded. So I'm in it for $475. I think this card, when you look at this card, I mean it's pretty solid. I mean, there's a little off center. This is a little bit, that's bigger than here, but for the most part, the back looks really nice. The surface is great. The corners are great. So I think it comes back at least a 9. If it comes back at 10, you're talking, you flipped $475 into about, $2,100, $2,300, I think a 10's going for. And then maybe you hold on to it. If it comes back a 9 or even an 8, I'll probably hold on to it and then toss it on eBay when LeBron James is going through his retirement tour in 2 to 3 years. I'm not in a hurry with these cards. With the Jordan card, again, I don't know when he's going to be more relevant than he is right now. So, that's kind of the big value that I'm looking to. So here are the 5 cards that I'm going to send to PSA, and I look forward to coming back here and reporting back on what exactly these cards are estimated at. Hopefully, I'll get a PSA 10 in there. That'll be great. If I can get one of the Kobe's, maybe the LeBron. PSA 9s I'll be happy with as well. PSA 8s, I make my money back. That's great. I know the Jordan card is probably going to come back a 1. Maybe I can get 1,000, 1,500 for that one. So, look for those on eBay once they are graded and back in my hands. I might hold on to the Kobe's and maybe the LeBrons, but it's fun to do this. I really want to stress that this is a fun process. It shouldn't be just about the money making, but I do know it is about the money making, but it should be fun too. It should be a hobby. It should be a process. You should be able to invest in the magnifying glass if you're really getting involved. The pennies, the penny sleeves, the card savers, it doesn't take a lot to get into this, but the rewards and how you spend your time and what truly becomes value to you is the experience. That's what I'm finding. So hopefully you can find some enjoyment in this as well. Thank you for watching. If you like these videos, and I know we've only done a couple, but if you do subscribe, we're going to be doing these more often. We got a lot of cards, so we just got to get the videos created. We got a lot of content coming. I have a video coming up about a 1993 Topps baseball box that I bought. So 36 packs. I'm looking for that Derek Jeter draft pick card. PSA 10, it's about 400. I think I paid about 100, 125 for the box. So I'm hoping to pull a couple out of there. I'll take you on the journey as we go with it. But until then, thanks for watching. This is Card Fellas. I'm Matt, and we'll see you next time.